So we are now on to action here between Team Ontario and Team Louisiana. And the first lead of the game goes to Team Ontario, number 12, Stevie Stitches. And they get 2 points to start our game off. So Team Ontario with the early lead over Team Louisiana. I am Jumping Sparta here with you at Skate Wars 2024. And this is our game 4. Check this here just momentarily. This is our 17th place game between these two squads. Now jamming for Team Louisiana, Carmina Piranha, and Valkyrie, number 10 for Team Ontario, who gets lead. Star pass to number 0429, Carmina Piranha. Sorry, that was a stash to Carmina Piranha. Pack moving very quickly. Team Louisiana trying to get together and now controlling the pace of the pack as they continue to pick up speed. Trying to make things difficult for Valkyrie, who gets a bit of a jersey whip from their pivot. Number 31 slides through and calls off the jam. Good teamwork between those two. Halloween, the third season of the Witch, helping out their jammer, Valkyrie, who gets 4 points in the first 2 jams of the game. Both go in favor of Team Ontario. They lead 7-0. Our roster this weekend for Team Ontario, number 042, Riders Block. Number 10, Valkyrie. Number 1070, Pyro Magniac. 1701, the captain is Pip. Number 12, Stevie Stitches, saw them in the first jam. Number 1223, Daisy Tripper. 187, Morrison. 20, Hayden McGrath. 27, Saul Good. Number 31, Halloween. 316, Firewalker. 413, Car on Fire. Number 420, Harden. 505, Sari, not sorry. The other captain is number 67, Ziggy Scardust. Number 7, Redheaded for Trouble, V. Made it here this weekend, number 8. And number 81, the Dictator. Our coaches are Sour Cherry and Coach Fury for Team Ontario, who is trying to pick up another lead jam here in the third jam of the game. As V now jamming for Team Ontario. Wearing the star for Team Louisiana, that Florida lead that is so common to Louisiana is Rest in Pieces. The roster for Team Louisiana, number 020, Mississippi Blues. 0429, Carmina Piranha, saw them in the second jam. Number 10, DNT Christ. The captain, number 13, Bose. Number 228, Comet Kazi. Number 29, I'm a Pusher. 343, Twinkle Toes. Number 49, Bree Aggressive. Bree Aggressive. Number 5, I Shove Lucy. 700 is Chief. Number 8, the other captain, Rest in Pieces. And number 901, Violet Assaults. Our coaches for Team Louisiana are Reaper, Blasian, Bayou. Those are the bench coaches and the bench staff for Team Louisiana. As we finally do get a lead with more than a minute gone in jam number 3. V is our lead jammer. Star pass to number 187, Kindly Kills. Apologize, did not have that on the roster. Pivot is Kindly Kills. Actually, we'll have a power jam opportunity here, so no star pass. Rest in Pieces in the Happy Coffee penalty box. Currently, Team Louisiana playing good defense here on V, slowing them down. V looked, I believe, to try and duck under a link here as the jammer comes back to the pack. 4 more points for Team Ontario. So lead jam every single time so far for Team Ontario. And they have a 14-0 lead, under 26 minutes to play here. Comet Kazi going to man the line for the 4th jam of the game for Team Louisiana, and Stevie Stitches back jamming for Team Ontario. Stevie Stitches started off our game. Got lead and picked up 2 points, but this time lead jam does go to Team Louisiana and Kamikaze. Kamikaze in those bright blue shorts and bright blue socks as well. Orange skates and green caps on the knee pads. A lot of colors for Kamikaze, who calls the jam off. Stevie Stitches was racing into the pack, forced out of bounds, and the first 3 points of the game were scored by Kamikaze and Team Louisiana, the first 3 points for them. Said I'm Jumping Spider here with you at Skate Wars 2024, live for action from track number 3 here at the Lansing Center in Lansing, Michigan. The happiest place on earth to be here this weekend, especially in the world of roller derby. Got an exciting game here for you two teams, fighting it out for 17th place. We have another skater here with orange skates and the green knee cap, caps on the knee pads. That's Twinkle Toes, number 343 for Louisiana. In the teeth of the Team Ontario defense, Pip at the top of the triangle there. Valkyrie actually bumped Twinkle Toes out into the front. So Valkyrie trying to get that spacing and knock the jammer forward, and now it's going to pick up a cut track penalty. So from bad to worse, unfortunately for Valkyrie, it is a power jam opportunity here for Team Louisiana. Twinkle Toes takes a jersey whip, gets around Pip the pivot, and gets 4 points for Team Louisiana. Now their offense going to set up, and Twinkle Toes says, let's call off the jam, see if we can get a clean power start here. So Louisiana with 7 points in their last 2 jams. Nice work for them. And they'll be starting this next jam unopposed as Valkyrie still in the Happy Coffee penalty box. A penalty box this weekend sponsored by Happy Coffee. They are partnering with NAMI, the largest grassroots mental health organization in the United States. For more information on that partnership, and more information on Happy Coffee as well, check out nami.org or happyproducts.com/NAMI. An official timeout on track number 3, our first official timeout of the game. Brought to you as always by 888 and 187 Killer Pads, one of our sponsors here this weekend. Have an official timeout. Going to sort some things out here as Team Louisiana was trying to make sure how many blockers they should have on the track. Did see that. Looks like both teams will have a blocker in the Happy Coffee penalty box. Nope, sorry, that is 4 blockers for Team Louisiana and 3 for Team Ontario. Ontario squeezing that 14-7 lead as we start jam number 6, Carmina Piranha. Jamming for Team Louisiana. Bounces off a hit and gets into the clear. Firewalker unable to hold back Carmina Piranha. And number 0429, she has lead for Team Louisiana. Once again, Firewalker, the blocker at the top of the pack for Team Ontario's. Valkyrie spun around to the outside by Bose. And so it's going to be a long recycle for the Team Ontario jammer. Carmina Piranha stepped through on the inside, now met by a blocker who forces them out of bounds. Carmina Piranha was checking with the official to make sure that she didn't go out of bounds, and in that time, Pirate Magniac caught up and got the force out. Valkyrie once again recycling through and now is through the pack. So Team Louisiana bringing their blockers back to try and play some late-stage offense. Carmina Piranha with 3 points on the final pass. 7 points in all, and we have our first tie of the game since we were all knotted up at the start of the game 0-0. 14-14 is our score. Well done by Team Louisiana taking advantage of the power jam scenario there. The pivot bows in the box for Team Louisiana as we start jam number 7, Rest in Pieces against Stevie Stitches. Team Louisiana in the white jerseys with the dark blue trim up the sides of the jersey. Team Ontario in their black jerseys with the white lettering in its lead. Jammer to Rest in Pieces. As we said, that fleur-de-lis, the symbol of Louisiana and their largest and most famous city, New Orleans, as well. That white flower with the green leaves on the Team Ontario jerseys is the trillium, the provincial flower of the province of Ontario. Said that on game number, my first game this weekend, on Friday. Rest in Pieces calls off the jam with 4 points and a lead change for the game. Team Louisiana going in front, 18-14. Rest in Peace is one of the captains for Team Louisiana. As we said, the other captain, Bose, out of the Happy Coffee penalty box. Actually, no. Bose did not make it out of the penalty box. Still standing, though. So still a 4-3 blocker advantage for Team Ontario as it'll be Valkyrie against Twinkle Toes, or Kamikaze. Valkyrie with that toe stop dance around the inside, ducked around, they escaped from their blocker. The dictator is Kamikaze still in the pack lead, jammer to Team Ontario. So Valkyrie into the pack end, out of it. 4 points picked up by Ontario. They garnered 4 more points. We have our second tie of the first half. 18 all is our score, over 20 minutes to play here in our first half of action. It's going to be a lively one, folks. We're glad you're here with us on the stream for Skate Wars 2024. Make sure to subscribe to the Lansing Roller Derby YouTube page. They've got a lot more content, including Mitten Kittens coming up next month. So we have Twinkle Toes now jamming for Team Louisiana. V, number 8 for Team Ontario. And it would look like it was going to be lead jammer to Twinkle Toes, but a forearm penalty called on Twinkle Toes. Twinkle Toes settling into the Happy Coffee penalty box. V still in the thick of things as Team Louisiana's defense. Very sturdy here. One hit, then another, and now everybody goes down towards the inside, and V will have to recycle. Adroit awareness by the Louisiana blockers. Smash Adams coming to hold things down. Thought we had a couple of players who weren't on the roster or who were crossed off the roster here that actually are playing for Team Louisiana, and Twinkle Toes jets out of the penalty box and gets into the clear of things. And now it'll be lead jammer to V, and V immediately going to get the call from the bench to call off the jam, and just in time as Twinkle Toes was racing around to the far straightaway looking to score points. No points scored by either team. They're a wash for our jam number 9, and our score remains at 18 all. Jam number 10 starts, and we have not come close to deciding anything yet. Carmina Pirana and Stevie Stitches jamming for Team Louisiana and Ontario, respectively. Carmina Pirana had a head of steam, but slowed down by the Team Ontario blockers. And Stevie Stitch is going to head to the Happy Coffee penalty box, where they will take a seat for at least some amount of seconds. It could be 30 seconds. Carmina Pirana is lead, though. Team Louisiana on a power jam opportunity as the pack picks up speed. Red-headed for trouble at one of the hinges of the triangle. Last blocker to beat was Daisy Tripper, and Carmina Pirana does so. 4 points for Team Louisiana, and so they retake the lead by 4. Stevie Stitches out of the penalty box and into the clear. No pack called as the Team Louisiana blockers were dropping back, controlling the pace of that pack, and then they immediately closed that space down. So an easy 4 points for Carmina Pirana. Stevie Stitches working their way past. Forearm penalty is going to send Bose to the Happy Coffee penalty box once again. So Team Louisiana losing one blocker, but they do get 12 points. Our largest jam of the game so far for Team Louisiana for either side. And we have a timeout. Timeout taken by Team Ontario. Their first charge timeout. Team Louisiana with a 12-point jam regains the lead. They are up 30-18. Under 18 minutes to play here in our first half of play. Our 17th place game on track number 3 at Skate Wars 2024. Once again, we're so happy you're with us. Hopefully we're able to make it out to the Lansing Center for at least one day of the action here. It has not been anything that you would have wanted to miss. And we are sponsored by Roller Bones here on track number 3 at Skate Wars. Our games today on track number 3 is it's Championship Sunday. We just finished our 23rd place game between Team Alaska and the Alabama All-Stars. Team Alaska winning that one, their first win of the weekend. Team Louisiana battling it out right now with Team Ontario. We'll have Team Badass Roller Derby against Team Florida, seeing who will get 11th place immediately following this contest. And our final game of the weekend on track number 3 will be Texas versus California for 5th place. We had our other games. Team Trans Rollers United, I believe, taking the win over the Jersey All-Stars on track number 2. Montana currently facing Ohio. It'll be Team Indiana versus Team Indigenous Rising at 1:15 p.m. on track number 2 as we start jam number 11 with Rest in Pieces versus Valkyrie. Valkyrie always up on the toe stops and then gets room on the outside to get lead for Team Ontario. Rest in Peace is still trying to find some space. It's Valkyrie on their first scoring pass. Quick skip and a tiptoe through the inside for Valkyrie to get 4. It was a recycle, actually. Bo's going to come to the front of the pack here. Valkyrie forced out of bounds. Nope. There's a penalty going to be assessed to the Team Ontario jammer. So Valkyrie going to take a seat in the Happy Coffee penalty box. Rest in Peace is still trying to find some room around the blockers for Team Ontario. Car on fire at the top of the pack. Rest in Peace is now slowed down. Holly Ween, and no pack called, will release Rest in Pieces. This jam will go to the full time, 2 minutes, under a minute to go in the jam so far. Power jam opportunity still going for Team Louisiana. Ontario gets all of their blockers to the front. Ducey kindly kills, trying to break things up. Out of play block, I believe, called here. Valkyrie doing dance outside, now inside, now does dance inside and gets around DNT Christ. 4 more points for Valkyrie. 4 points for Rest in Pieces. We are under 30 seconds to go in the jam here, which will again go to the full time. Defense for Team Louisiana settling in at the top. Nice work by Hayden McGrath, first breaking up the triangle for Team Louisiana, then leveling a big hit on Rest in Pieces, forcing the recycle. And that gives time for Valkyrie to get through Louisiana D for 4 points. 12 points so far for Team Ontario. Louisiana still squeezing a lead. They have a full 4-point scoring pass. Valkyrie's looking to fly around the outside to get one last point, but cannot do so. 3 points at the tail end for Rest in Pieces. So Team Louisiana maintains their lead, takes advantage of the power jam, although Ontario does win the jam by a score of 12-7. Louisiana up by 7, under 15 minutes to play in the first half. And an official review going to be requested here by Team Ontario. An official review, their first official review of the first half. As we said, the score is 37-30, 14 minutes and 49 seconds on the clock in the first half. We are on track 3 at Skate Wars 2024. We'll see what the query is on this official review when we get to talk to the alternate official here. There's a good chance that Valkyrie will be looking for points scored on that final pass. It's always going to depend if they landed in bounds and if they started that scoring run before that first set of 4 whistles concluded. So Valkyrie actually sitting in the Happy Coffee penalty box. They've taken a couple of penalties already. Checking our display here to see what that was. It looks like a contact penalty. Out of play blocking penalty right now on Valkyrie. So 3 penalties for a very good jammer for Team Ontario. Normally very clean jammer. A couple of cut track penalties on Valkyrie so far. Also seeing a penalty on Stevie Stitches for cut track early in the game. No other jammer penalties to speak of for Team Ontario. On the Team Louisiana side, I believe no jammers in the book yet for them. No, we did have a forearm penalty on Twinkle Toes. So the only jammer penalty so far for Team Louisiana is that forearm penalty. 14 minutes and 49 seconds as our official review continues. Our breaks in the action this weekend are brought to you by 888 and 187 Killer Pads, one of our sponsors this weekend. What was requested and what was...
The official review was to remove the skating out of bounds penalty.
Probably could have kept the microphone on for you there. So Team Ontario requesting an official review to remove the skating out of bounds penalty for Valkyrie because it was after the jam was called and there was contact. The officials determined that, yes, that was the case, so Team Ontario retains their official review, and they will start this jam with V jamming for them, as opposed to having a jammer in the penalty box. Always good for a coach, not just to get your jammer into the game and not have to deal with the perils of a power start, but also to win an official review. Always feels good to win an official review. And that is going to be a forearm penalty against V, so I said the jammer was going to be on the track, and it looks like that was only for a few seconds. Almost a mirage for the jammer onto the track. So Kamikaze, all by their lonesome in terms of jamming. Power jam opportunity here for Team Louisiana. Team Ontario defense settling in now in the apex of turn number 1. Firewalker really anchoring that triangle. And now the Team Louisiana defense comes up, sorry not sorry. Last defender for Team Ontario, and they were unable to hold back Kamikaze. No lead for this jam. So we will go the full 2 minutes. Great defense by Team Ontario, able to hold back Kamikaze for over a minute. Now they're going to be forced out of bounds by the dictator as V comes back to the track. So our power jam finishes. V ducks underneath the hit and gets into the clear. Ducked underneath the hit from 3, aggressive. Kamikaze trying to work her way up the inside line. V forced out of bounds, and V didn't feel it. V went out of bounds, came back in ahead of Violet Assault, so it's going to be another jammer penalty for Team Ontario here. Taking a lot of cut track penalties here in the early going. Sometimes a sign of that aggressiveness, wanting to get a lead and really trying to get a win here to finish out the weekend strongly. Team Louisiana, meanwhile, going to play some offense for Kamikaze. But Team Ontario lets the offense slide through and reforms. Good defense by Team Ontario. Well needed in that scenario as well. 2 points for V on the scoring run. And 4 in total for Team Louisiana. They maintain their lead and increase their lead to 9 points. 41-32 over, just under 13 minutes to play here in our first half. And now an official timeout as the 5 seconds was called. Official timeout on the track here. Again, our official timeouts, our official reviews, our breaks in the action, wholesale this weekend are brought to you by 888 and 187 Killer Pads. Penalty count here, 5 penalties for Team Louisiana. They've managed to stay relatively clean here. 10 penalties for Team Ontario. Only 2 for Valkyrie after that skating out of bounds penalty was removed. 1 penalty for Stevie Stitches. And a penalty, 3 penalties for V now. As there was a second penalty, I believe, assessed, so they will be starting in the Happy Coffee penalty box. Looks like that was an insubordination penalty for V. So Twinkle Toes going to be jamming in a power start scenario here for Team Louisiana. As the whistle blows, Twinkle Toes forced out of bounds, has to recycle. It's a blocking out of play penalty. Twinkle Toes forced inside by Red-Headed for trouble, but gets around Ryder's block and Daisy Tripper. And lead jammer to Team Louisiana. Offense settling up. We see some offense being played early on as Twinkle Toes goes low and around the outside to swing off the block, trying to twist around another. Great defense there at the top of the pack. But Twinkle Toes does manage to get through for 4 points. Now V out of the penalty box, so both jammers into the clear. 2 blockers right now in the box for Team Ontario. V forced out of bounds. The pack did split. Smash Adams with the force out. And Twinkle Toes gets 4 more points. V pirouettes off a block. Twinkle Toes swings around another but can't get past Ryder's block. Twinkle Toes going to recycle. V now through the pack. Twinkle Toes on their final scoring pass. Calls off the jam. Did get all 4 points on that final pass. 12 points. 12 points for Team Louisiana. Tied with their largest jam of the half, Carmina Pirana got 12 points earlier in this half, and Team Louisiana has a 53-32 lead. The aforementioned Carmina Pirana jamming for Team Louisiana, and Valkyrie back on the line for Team Ontario. Blockers were momentarily up by the pivot line. They dropped back almost immediately right before that 5 seconds whistle. And Carmina Pirana moves around to the outside and brushes off a block from Pip to get lead jammer for Team Louisiana. Valkyrie still contending with defenders and now is going to be forced back to recycle by Bose, the captain. Long recycle here as both jammers are out of bounds. So action is going to come back into turn number 4. Carmina Pirana on a scoring pass though. Trying to maneuver around Daisy Tripper, goes inside block there, now outside block there. Going to try the middle now. Team Ontario defense waterfalling well, trying to slow down Carmina Pirana best they can. They do eventually force her out of bounds. She does get 3 points on the pass. Team Louisiana, Carmina Pirana. I actually said the name of this song from the operetta, Carmina Burana, not Carmina Pirana. So 3 points for Team Louisiana, under 10 minutes to play. Team Louisiana leads Team Ontario roller derby by the score of 56-32. 14 jams deep we are into this game. So V jamming for Team Ontario gets rest in pieces. V finds the outside lane. Lead jammer does go to Team Louisiana, though both jammers are neck and neck. Rest in pieces bouncing off of V. Some defense trying to be played by V. Rest in pieces came up to the back of the pack, saw that their blockers were arranged 2 by 2 in the back, calls off the jam, and that'll be a wash. No points scored for either team. Smart decision by Rest in Pieces. V would have been able to pick up points more quickly than Rest in Pieces could. And the Team Ontario defense was arranged, stacked up on all 4 of them in the middle of the pack. Actually, both of those jammers wearing the number 8. Now it'll be the number 12 for Team Ontario in black, Stevie Stitches, against Kamikaze, number 228. And that'll be lead jammer to Stevie Stitches. But a high block penalty on Stevie Stitches. We'll see if that does reopen lead. And Kamikaze actually going to head to the penalty box for a forearm. So both of our jammers into the penalty box, and we're going to have a quick switcheroo in just a moment. Both jammers coming out at almost the same time. Stevie Stitches with a bit of an advantage, pushing blockers up towards the pivot line, and now they have to release for the no pack. So Stevie Stitches out into the clear. No lead there, and we will have no lead jammer in this jam, and we will go the full 2 minutes. 1 minute and 15 seconds on the jam clock right now. Stevie Stitches is on a scoring run as the defense is arranged at the back. Stevie trying to pound their way forward. And being shut down by the Team Louisiana defense. Then Stevie Stitches with a quick turnaround up the inside line. That 180 and now another 180 to get around Kamikaze, who has to recycle 4 points for Team Ontario. Kamikaze blocked off by the Dictator and ridden out of bounds. The pivot for Team Ontario doing very well here. Stevie Stitches tries to swing around a block from I Shove Lucy. And now going to stop at the back as the pack stretches out. Star going to be past the Bose. We are under 30 seconds to play here. Star past the Bose for Team Louisiana. They're the jammer of record. And the jam was called by Stevie Stitches, who I did not think had lead after the penalty. 4 points for Stevie Stitches on the final pass. So I believe we should have an official review here as the jam was called. Yep, there will be an official timeout on the track to sort that one out. Team Ontario does win the jam 8-0. And we'll see exactly what happened. The Stevie Stitches called off the jam. Those for Team Louisiana, as well as the other captain, Rest in Peace, is coming out to check immediately along with their coach, Reaper. Officials getting together here, going to try and sort things out. Team Louisiana leads by 56-40 as the score, 6 minutes and 37 seconds on the clock in the first half. Again, you will not want to miss our final for first place here at Skate Wars 2024 this afternoon on track number 1. It will be Black Diaspora Roller Derby up against Team Pennsylvania from the Keystone State. They will be duking it out to see who is the winner of Skate Wars 2024, our Borders and Borderless Teams tournament. That will be at approximately 3:30 this afternoon. At halftime of that game, we'll have the presentations for our places from 3rd all the way down to 23rd for the 24th for this tournament. Then immediately following the game, we will have our first place and most valuable player presentation. So don't go away. There's all the roller derby all the time here for your Sunday, September 8th at Skate Wars 2024 in Lansing, Michigan. The happiest place to be this weekend in the world of roller derby. So it looks like there will be 4 points given to Team Louisiana. No penalty. No penalty.
There was a whistle confusion. They heard those whistles.
No
Called off
penalty
the
for calling off the
No, it was officiating error.
So the results of the official timeout there was no penalty assessed to the Team Ontario Jammers. There was confusion from the whistles coming on track number 2. The officials called off that jam in errors. Team still checking with the lead official on our track here, Kilt Trip. And he is explaining what happened on that last jam. So once again, no penalty assessed for Team Ontario calling off the jam. 4 points for Team Louisiana in that last jam after the star pass to Bose. They have a 60-40 lead over Team Ontario. As we come back here with Twinkle Toes, number 343, jamming for Team Louisiana. Going to spin and step over a blocker. And now Sari Natsari jamming for Team Ontario gets lead. Sari Natsari, the lead jammer for Team Ontario. They're coming around with a full track to work with. Twinkle Toes able to skip and dip around a block. Now has one more block from the Dictator. Out of play called, and Twinkle Toes into the clear. Sari going to go into the pack. And now the jam is called. Sari went down under some heavy pressure from Team Louisiana, and they do get 2 points. 2 points for Team Ontario. First jam for Sari Natsari of this first half. Gets lead, gets 2 points. A perfect record so far for number 505. Once again, Team Louisiana in the white jerseys with the navy blue, dark navy blue trim on the side of the jerseys and on the stripe and fleur-de-lis on the helmets. Team Ontario in the black jerseys with the white lettering and the trillium on the front of the jerseys. Green stripe and green star on the caps. Another official timeout here. Our breaks in the action are brought to you by 888 and 187 Killer Pads this weekend. Team Ontario cutting that deficit down to 18 points. They trail Team Louisiana 60-42. 5 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in our first half of play. We've had 17 jams worth of work so far. Both of our teams really very much in this game. It is going to be Carmina Pirana jamming for Team Louisiana. And Pyromagniac going to spell the Team Ontario jammers. Big drawback there for Pip and Team Ontario. Going to have I believe a failure to reform or breaking the pack penalty on Firewalker for Team Ontario. They'll settle in the happy coffee penalty box. Our pack congeals around turn number 1. Carmina Pirana forced out of bounds by Pyromagniac, who comes back in play. Some jamming defense played there. And a releasing block by Bose going to free things up, and the star is passed to V. The pivot for Team Ontario. V raced around the side of Carmina Pirana, who I believe was unawares. And so Team Ontario going to shut that one down with the star pass. Very adeptly done. And it's a wash. For our teams in that jam. Jam number 18. No points awarded to either team. So Team Ontario going out of their jammer rotation here a bit. The Dictator going to jam for Team Ontario, their first time jamming. Rest in Pieces, number 8. jamming and now lead jammer for Team Louisiana. Team Louisiana really gumming things up in turn one as Rest in Pieces is into the pack on a scoring pass, makes heavy contact with the triangle. Red headed for trouble, anchoring that against with the pivot. Rest in Peace is trying to wrap around the outside. Good work by Team Ontario, not allowing that to happen. Stevie Stitch is pivoting for Team Ontario. We see Team Ontario going with a bit of a change, trying to get their pivots to jam a bit, spell their jammers. And their jammers pivoting in case they do have a pass. And a forearm penalty going to go here against Rest in Peace, is trying to work against that wall of defense. So it's a power jam opportunity for the Dictator. And this jam will go the full 2 minutes, 1 minute on the clock. DNT Christ with a force out of bounds and a recycle here for the Dictator. Let's see Team Ontario if they don't get a break here. Dictator going to get around that block. They get around Kindly Kills. 4 points for Team Ontario. I was going to wonder if they might think about passing the start of Stevie Stitches if the defense closed things down. But a nice run by the Dictator. Going to try to get some help from Red Headed for Trouble. Kindly Kill shuts that down. Mississippi Blues now anchoring the triangle as the power jam has come to a close. Rest in Peace is back on the track. Trying to wrap again around Stevie Stitches. Stevie Stitches not going for it. Going to hold things down in lane number 4. Now Team Louisiana has forced the Team Ontario jammer around to the back of the pack. And the Dictator going to slow down just a moment. Stevie Stitch is heading to the penalty box, and 4 points going to go up for Rest in Pieces. All 4 points, I believe, on the final pass. Yes, for the Dictator. So nice work spelling the regular jammers for Team Ontario. They win the jam 8-4 and close the deficit to 14 points. Just over 2 minutes remaining here in our game, in our first half of our game. Team Louisiana leads Team Ontario by 64-50 is our score. Sari Not Sorry going to take a turn jamming once again for Team Ontario against Comet Kazi. Comet Kazi in those very distinctive sky blue shorts. And the similarly colored socks as well. One blocker to beat for Comet Kazi, that's Holly Ween, the 3rd season of the Witch, not an easy feat. As well as Hayden McRath. Bo's going to give some help, and the pack picks up speed. Now Bo's going to try and block Sari Not Sorry, does slow them down, but a good job of forcing out by Halloween the 3rd, and a recycle for Comet Kazi. Sari Not Sorry tried to tiptoe around the outside, but could not do so, and now Stevie Stitch is out of the penalty box. The Comet Kazi all the way back to the middle of the far straightaway. The Team Ontario defense doing very well to close things down for the Team Louisiana jammer. We don't have lead yet. Sari Not Sorry still hunting for that. Comet Kazi unable to stay in bounds. Hayden McRath with a big block to force them out of bounds. Tripod holding steady for Team Ontario. Under 1 minute to play, under a minute to play in the first half. And a forearm penalty going to bring Comet Kazi to the Happy Coffee penalty box. That's 2 penalties in the last 2 jams for the Team Louisiana Jammers. Lead is still open for Sari Not Sorry, but as we are coming down to the late stages of this jam, the pivot on the tracks, Stevie Stitch is at the top of the pack, waiting implacably there for Sari Not Sorry to maneuver their way through. Car on Fire trying to force the issue up to the front. And now comes back to swing open a screen for Sari Not Sorry. Does have one more blocker to beat. Team Louisiana waterfalls well. And Sari Not Sorry closed down on the inside. We will tick down to the end of the period clock. 7 seconds left on the jam clock. Comet Kazi coming back. Louisiana killing off the penalty entirely. And that will end our final jam of the first half. No points scored by either team. And the first time in this game, nobody got lead. Great defensive work by both teams, and that will bring us to halftime. Team Louisiana leads Team Ontario 64-50. 17th place going to be decided in this game. I'm Jumping Spider here with you at Skate Wars 2024. We'll be back in just a few moments with our first half statistics and to open our second half of action. Welcome back. The game ain't been the same since you left out. Welcome back to Skate Wars 2024 on track number 3. As Team Louisiana holds a 14-point lead over Team Ontario, we are coming back to our second half of action. To start things off, jamming for Team Louisiana, it will be Twinkle Toes. Jamming against number 12, Stevie Stitches for Team Ontario, and lead jammer of the first jam of the second half will go to Stevie Stitches. Twinkle Toes out into the clear, not too far behind, about a half track's worth. The Dictator with a nice seal at the beginning of the jam, but it's a cut track penalty against Stevie Stitches. There were some points gained on that first pass, but right now we're in a power jam scenario for Twinkle Toes, who shrugs off a hit from the Dictator, spins off another one from Daisy Tripper, and gets 4 points. Some quick first half statistics: 17 total penalties for Team Ontario. And jammer penalties gave them some trouble. 8 jammer penalties in the first half, 3 each for Stevie Stitches, and 3 penalties going against the Dictator in the first half. 10 penalties for Team Louisiana, however, 5 of those were jammer penalties, 2 each for Comet Kazi and for Rest in Pieces. So both teams taking penalties, and both teams believing themselves susceptible to power jams as Stevie Stitches tried to angle jump around the inside, coming around the far straightaway. Both jammers having to recycle here. And DNT Chris went down. The floor monster got her. And so Bose filtering up to keep the pack shape. Stevie Stitches bounces off a hit from Bose and gets 4 points as the jammer penalty comes to a close. 8 points so far for Team Louisiana in the jam. And another 4 points for Twinkle Toes. Stevie Stitches has one more blocker to defeat and almost got through I Shove Lucy, but Bose made sure that it wasn't a full drop back. And it is a cut track here forced by Bose, as one of the blockers was knocked out of bounds, but the officials judged that Stevie Stitches came in a little bit too far ahead. So Team Louisiana will finish this jam on a power jam scenario, and as it closes out, another 4 points for Team Louisiana, 3 for Stevie Stitches on their final pass. So Team Louisiana wins the first jam of the second half, 16-7, and they increase their lead. They are up on Ontario, 80-57, under 28 minutes to play. Stevie Stitches getting that lead and losing it, however, still adding 7 points to their total so far for this game. And jam number 2 starts with Carmina Piranha getting lead jammer status on the power start. First lead awarded this half. There's one blocker in the back there for Team Ontario. Riders block trying to start off the defense, but Carmina Piranha out into the clear rather easily for 4 points. Jammer out of the box and immediately passes the start of V for Team Ontario, so V into the clear. And Carmina Piranha snakes through the pack, gets 2 more points and calls off the jam before V can score. So Team Louisiana with the run of things nearly going in the second half. They're on a 22-7 run in our first 2 jams and have a 29-point lead over Team Ontario. Our leading scorers of the first half with 20 points for Team Ontario was Valkyrie, following right behind Stevie Stitches with 10. 22 points for Carmina Piranha, the leading point scorer for Team Louisiana in the first half. Rest in Peace has had 15. Rest in Peace is jamming for Team Louisiana now. We have a spell jammer in. Holly Wayne the third, who gets lead for Team Ontario. Both jammers into the clear. Holly Wayne coming in quickly, looking for the high apex jump. One skate, I believe, landed out of bounds. Yep, no clear jump on that one, so no points awarded to either side. Holly Wayne going for it all, could not get anything out of it. So a wash in that jam. And both teams remained at their current scores, 86-57. Game reset for you as we are over 25 minutes here. Official timeout going to be taken. Team Louisiana has all 3 of their timeouts and has their official review remaining for this half. Team Ontario with 2 timeouts and an official review as well for the second half official review. This is an official timeout, and that is brought to you by 888 and 187 Killer Pads, our sponsors this weekend. And Skate Wars is presented by the Gillespie Group this weekend as well. And of course, our track number 3 sponsor is Rollerbones for this weekend's games here on track number 3. Again, this is our 17th place game, and shout out to all of you watching out there on audio video land on the Lansing Roller Derby channel on YouTube. My man Aaron Looney, who is one of the best announcers that you will ever meet or see, is also a good bass player, if I recall. Sadly, he could not make it up here for this tournament, but glad that you're watching Aaron early on down in Louisiana. Know my friend Megara Fenway is watching out there somewhere. And once again, Megara, I have bad news for you. The Boston Celtics will not be winning the 2025 NBA championship. They will not be winning this year. I've got that on good authority, so sorry for the early bad news. But sometimes you just got to deal with that. Boston can't win everything. No Boston in this game. Louisiana versus Ontario for this one. And our official timeout does come to a close. Right now, we just have Stevie Stitches standing at the jam line for Team Ontario.
Contact was made in that leaping jump. They are checking on the skater to make sure they were not injured, but the skater did initiate a block, and there was no penalty assessed because no illegal action happened.
So the officials were checking that there was a leaping contact made by a skater, checking to make sure that the skater is not injured, but there was contact made. It was not illegal contact, however, so no penalty will be assessed. Team Louisiana still waiting to field their lineup, waiting for the results of that official review. 1-2 blockers right now in the Happy Coffee penalty box for Team Ontario. Team Louisiana, with both teams at full strength, will field Mississippi Blues. First time for them, jamming for Team Louisiana against Stevie Stitches. Stevie led off the second half, scored 7 points for Team Ontario, however, did take a penalty in that jam. And it'll be lead jammer to Mississippi Blues. For Team Louisiana, Stevie Stitches is through after a spin move to the inside. Team Ontario going to lose another blocker here, bedheaded for trouble. Called to the penalty box on a 42 advantage. Those trying to work their way up and set up a screen, but Stevie Stitches was closing down the space quickly. So back-to-back washes, no points scored for either team, and our score will remain for just a few seconds longer at 86-57. Under 25 minutes here to play in our 17th place game on track number 3. Again, stick around after this game, as we will have, right now we're going to have Twinkle Toes jamming against V, but our game immediately following this one on track number 3 will be Team Badass Derby against Team Florida, and that will be lead jammer to V for Team Ontario. Only the second lead jam of the half out of 5 for Team Ontario. V with a lot of room to work with, as blockers are now in the box for both teams. V gets a nice screen, but is going to be knocked down by DNT. Chris slowed up for Twinkle Toes to get through. Twinkle Toes, or DNT Chris taking that block and staying inbound, so V had to stop and then come back into play. Twinkle Toes picked up speed, got back in the pack for 3 points, and only 4 in total for Team Ontario. So Team Louisiana winning the jam from the trailing position. 7 points for them. They approach the century mark. They lead 93-61. One blocker each in the Happy Coffee penalty box for these teams. 3 blockers on the track. 1 jammer each. Halloween the third, Season of the Witch, jamming for Team Ontario. Going to find some space around the block from Firewalker. Lead jammer to Team Ontario. Carmina Pirana going to be passing the star off to Bowles, who was forced out of bounds, but the jammer went out, the blocker went out of bounds as well. So Star pass to Bose for Team Louisiana. Hollywood in the third got into the pack and got 3 points. Called off the jam, so Team Ontario scoring for the third time in our second half, third time in 6 jams. And they cut that lead down to 29 once again. 29 is the margin for Team Louisiana. Rest in Peace is going to get another turn now, jamming against Stevie Stitches. Rest in Peace has been held off the board so far in the second half. Had 15 points in the first half. Stevie Stitches trying to add to their total, being forced out of bounds inside. Team Louisiana digging in on their defense, and that slows things up enough for Rest in Pieces. Jancy Kristen, Mississippi Blues, and now Kindly Kill, but unable to hold back Stevie Stitches, who finds a way through. Rest in Peace is going to make her own break. Looking to the bench to see when she'll call it, and does right there. Rest in Pieces with a booming 4 points for Team Louisiana as the jam was called off. Blockers didn't know for a second. We've got that convention center spacing, hard floors, and white brick walls, which means the sound bounces around in here. So I think the blockers, and we're checking to see if those whistles were theirs for a moment. Looks like 4 points will be awarded to Team Ontario on that last jam, for 4 points for Stevie Stitches as well, our third watch of the second half. V jamming for Team Ontario. Comet Kazi for Team Louisiana. Comet Kazi gets some help from Bose. Only one blocker to beat. Pirate Magniac holding things down well as the pack moves up. This might be a save here. And V going on one leg to duck around the block and beats the last blocker. Team Ontario will get lead. Great work by Pirate Magniac to slow down that pack. Ryder's block and V almost matching speed. Ryder's block going to go into the pack and level a big block here. And V will get 4 points call off the jam. Comet Kazi did get in to get 1, but Team Ontario taking advantage of pack manipulation and speed to win that jam 4-1. 26 points separates our teams here. 20 minutes and change on the game clock for the second half. Sari Not Sorry going to jam for Team Ontario here. And Twinkle Toes immediately gets lead. Twinkle Toes started off the second half as both of our jammers went to the penalty box. Twinkle Toes still picked up 16 points on that jam to open things up for Team Louisiana. Twinkle Toes going to go low and then jump into a block from Firewalker. Bounces around to the outside and gets 4 points. Twinkle Toes now going to stretch out the shin and the hip just a bit. Come back to the bench. 4 points for Team Louisiana, and they jump over the century mark just like Twinkle Toes jumped through the space there. 102 to 72, 102 to 72. That's our score. 19 minutes and seconds working on our clock. Carmina Pirana, the leading point scorer for Team Louisiana in the first half. Jamming here for them now. Stevie Stitches taking the star back for Team Ontario. Stitches goes through Bose and gets lead. Carmina Pirana going to stash the star now and immediately pass it off to Bose, who had a head of steam going up the outside. So Team Ontario looking for their pass here. Stevie Stitches going for that 360-degree jump to the inside. Forced out of bounds by Carmina Pirana. Officials checking here. And I believe, yep, there's an official review requested here by Team Ontario as no points were awarded for Stevie Stitches on that last pass, but it's an official review for Team Ontario. Our first official review of the second half. And that break in the action is brought to you by 888 and 187 Killer Pads. We're sponsored by Roller Bones here on track number 3 at Skate Wars 2024. And as always, thank you to the Lansing Sports Commission for supporting Skate Wars this year. I'm Jumping Spider. I'm with you for our 17th place game, which has been a rollicking affair so far between Team Louisiana and Team Ontario. Louisiana in the white jerseys with the navy blue trim. They lead Team Ontario in the black jerseys with the white lettering and the trillium on the front. 102 to 72, 18 minutes and 38 seconds on the clock here in our game. Twinkle Toes has been the leading from the front for Team Louisiana in the second half. As we said, kicked off the second half with a 16-point jam, then added 7 more and 4 in their third jam. So 27 points scored so far for Twinkle Toes here in the second half. That is of the 38 garnered by Louisiana. On the other side of things, Stevie Stitch is hard at work for Team Ontario, getting 11 points, and then 8 for V.
Black team to issue a penalty due to bench staff and the white team entering the penalty box. The decision was that there was no skater in the penalty box to communicate with. There was no safety issue. It was just a crossing of it. Therefore, no penalty. Review will not be retained.
Team Ontario was requesting that the bench staff for Team Louisiana take a penalty for crossing the line into the penalty box. The officials adjudged that as there was no skater in the penalty box to communicate with and no safety issue was created, there was no penalty that was drawn in that situation. So Team Ontario will not retain their official review. So our reset here, Team Louisiana with all 3 of their timeouts in their official review for the second half remaining, and Team Ontario with 2 timeouts they do not have an official review to work with. Rest in peace is jamming for Team Louisiana, V for Team Ontario. Both of our jammers wearing the number 8 in this jam, and we're going to have a long recycle. Once again, jammer defense being played. Rest in pieces went back to beyond the zone of engagement, and V gets through on the inside. Lead jammer to V. That's V with the double lead for Team Ontario, and it is a believe, let's see. Nope, rest in pieces is still on the track. There is a blocker in the Happy Coffee penalty box for Team Louisiana. Rest in pieces trying to stand up tall on the outside and get through, but being held down very well by Car on Fire, and V gets through for 4 points. Team Ontario looking for a run, anything to spark them, and V flips around the outside, ducks around a pack, ducks around a blocker, and gets 4 points. Team Ontario scoring 8 points in that jam with no points for Team Louisiana. Just what Team Ontario needed. A shutout jam as they pick up 8 points and close the deficit now to 22 against Team Louisiana. Mississippi Blues going to jam here. The second time we've seen Mississippi Blues jamming for Team Louisiana. Sari Not Sorry on the line for Team Ontario. And Sari Not Sorry is the lead jammer for Team Ontario. Mississippi Blues was almost out in the clear and now does get around Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Sari coming into the pack, finds a break in the action, gets up quickly and gets around Bose. So a call of the jam for Team Ontario. They score 4 points. Nice work by Sari Not Sorry. And it's a 12-0 run for Team Ontario over the last 2 jams. We did have a jam in there where neither team scored points. So Team Ontario trying to cut this one down. They now trail by 18 to Team Louisiana. And we'll have a timeout called here by Team Louisiana. They let some time tick off the clock, went to the official timer at the pivot line, waited as long as they could for that 30 seconds to work, and then called timeout. The first charge timeout for Team Louisiana in this game. 16 minutes and 11 seconds on the clock. Team Louisiana leads Team Ontario 102 to 84. Once again, thank you for joining us here at Skate Wars 2024. I am Jumping Spider. Appreciate everybody watching on the stream today. Take a quick look at scores here. Team Montana leads Team Ohio. We're in the second half on that game. Under 12 minutes to go. Team Montana leading 115 to 90 right now. We've also got Fuego Latino going up against Flower Power. Flower Power leading that game. The team from Alberta, British Columbia, and Saskatchewan leads Fuego Latino by 75 to 52. We are done with our timeout here, and Stevie Stitches immediately gets lead around Twinkle Toes. Lead jammer to Team Ontario. And they're going to look to force the issue and push their advantage. Stevie Stitches gets through Bose and is going to keep things going. That's 4 points to Stevie Stitches. Bose was asking for a blocking with the head penalty there, but not going to get anything going there. So Twinkle Toes gets 4 points. The Dictator trying to work outside. Stevie Stitches went inside. Is going to call off the jam. Stevie Stitches waiting for Twinkle Toes to come around. Might have been better for Team Ontario to call the jam as soon for Stevie Stitches once they went out of bounds to the inside. Every second counts here, even in a close game, as Team Ontario does win the jam 6-4. They have gotten the lion's share of the points in the last 3 jams. 18-4 is their run so far, and they have closed to within 16 on Team Ontario. Happy Coffee penalty box is clear for both teams at full strength. Rest in peace is jamming for Team Louisiana, trying to get them back on the right side of things against V. Very dangerous jammer. V slips and slides down to the outside, has to recycle. Almost had a bit of daylight. Rest in pieces. Steps around on the inside line, but now forced towards the outside by, I believe, Daisy Tripper. Pip anchoring the triangle for Team Ontario, and V now bumped and bounced to the outside as well. He was looking for space inside, stopped by DeAnte Christ, and our pack moves slowly into the inside. It's a forearm penalty called on V. Power jam opportunity here for Team Louisiana. Rest in peace is going to try and make her way through the pack. Forced towards the inside by Pip. The defense holding very strong for Team Ontario. See Pip in there, Sarian out the north side. Hayden McGrath now bridging for Team Ontario. Pyromagnac trying to force Rest in Peace out of bounds and does. Good defense on the penalty kill for Team Ontario. Lead has not been awarded yet. Rest in Peace is trying to get that. Rest in Peace is trying to force her way up towards the top of the pack as V comes out of the penalty box. And Rest in Peace is going to bulldoze their way past the pivot and calls off the jam. Team Ontario, Team Louisiana, neither of them scoring any points. But lead does go to Team Louisiana, and they maintain their lead. A wash. No points scored for either team, and the lead remains the same, 16 points for Team Louisiana. This is where the stratagems come in. Both teams going to try and utilize their best lineups as we have a very close game here. Both teams trying in earnest to win it. Siri Natsari jamming for Team Ontario, and Carmina Pirana, who had a good first half for Team Louisiana, but has been held in check for the most part. Siri Natsari going to get a high block penalty, however, so it's a power jam opportunity for Carmina Pirana. Works her way up to the top of the pack, bounces off one block, now bounces off another by the Dictator and skips past the last one from Saul Good. Lead jammer to Team Louisiana. Pack picks up speed as Team Louisiana try and break things up. Quick screen from Violet Assault, but now the Team Ontario defense reforms. Bose is always in there trying to break up the mishmash of parts for Team Ontario. But they are waterfalling well. Halloween 3 comes back to bridge. And so a good penalty kill from Team Ontario here as Sari Natsari returns to the track. Pack scooching up forward, so Team Louisiana blocker is going to have to break apart and then come back into the zone of engagement. They do reform in time to slow down Sari Natsari. Under a minute to go here in our jam. Number 15 of the second half. Carmina Pirana trying to work around the Dictator, but they are forced out of bounds and going to have to recycle. Team Louisiana earning every single point they get here in this half. Carmina Pirana coming back to the very edge of the zone of engagement. Going to take a look up front to see what's going on with their defenders. Bo's going to head to the Happy Coffee penalty box as the Stars now pass to the Dictator. But a cut track penalty on the jammer of record, so the Dictator going to have to take a seat here. Power jam opportunity for Team Louisiana. And now a penalty called on Carmina Pirana. You could sense that there was some exhaustion in the jammer for Team Louisiana. And so we'll have the switcheroo. The Dictator going to come back into the pack, going to have to come back very far, and I don't believe, nope, the Dictator was not able to get back onto the track before the jam clock ran out. So 4 points for Team Louisiana. Though they will start with their jammer in the penalty box. A power start opportunity here for Team Ontario. Team Louisiana, 8 points over the last 6 jams, but they still hold a 20-point lead over Team Ontario. Timeout call here. Timeout call by Team Louisiana. Their second charge timeout of the game. And our break in the action is brought to you by 888 and 187 Killer Pads this weekend at Skate Wars 2024. Good game for you here. 17th place game for Team Louisiana. They lead 110-90 over Team Ontario.
Louisiana called for a timeout right. Get everybody back in order real fast. Louisiana still currently has a 20-point lead.
Again, it'll be a power start here for Team Ontario when this timeout concludes. They also have one blocker and Bose in the penalty box. So Mississippi Blues kindly kills and DNT Chris, the penalty kill unit for Team Louisiana. Pyromagniac, along with Daisy Tripper, Riders Block, and Red-Headed for Trouble. Team Ontario at full strength with their jammer Stevie Stitches. Going to be leading the way here for them. Stitches accruing so far. 17 points in the second half. And the whistle starts, 10 minutes and 37 seconds on the clock. Stevie Stitches with a spin move, stays in bounds around Mississippi Blues lead jammer 2, Team Ontario. Carmina Pirana was out of the box but goes back in. Might have come out a bit early there. GNT Chris, the Mississippi Blues, going to put a body to Stevie Stitches. And now the Team Louisiana defense reforming. Kindly kills, anchored by Bose. Stevie Stitches getting some offensive help here. DNT Chris turned around, but Bose with a block to force the jammer out of bounds. And a recycle for Stevie Stitches. Points have been scored on this pass, but the pack continues to move backwards. Now the pack is called into play. And no more retreating for kindly kills. Stevie Stitch is going to pick up speed and runs into DNT Chris, who says, Stevie, take a second, walk with me here. We're going to come back a bit. DNT Chris going to force Stevie Stitches to recycle here. And now Team Louisiana has their blockers at the back of the pack for the recycle. Carmina Pirana came out of the penalty box. Stevie Stitches spins through the pack, is going to get a full 4-point scoring pass and calls off the jam. Skaters made contact. Carmina Pirana went flying out of bounds. But does get 3 points. Team Louisiana get 3 points. 4 points for Team Ontario. Team Ontario with a bit of a flurry here over the last 6 jams. They have scored in 4 of those 6 and gotten a full scoring pass in all 4 of those scoring jams. And a 22-11 run for Team Ontario to close to within 19 points. The Dictator going to spell things for Team Ontario, jamming against Twinkle Toes. As we said, those stratagems going to come into play. Twinkle Toes a very good jammer here, but actually it's going to be V, not the Dictator, V jamming for Team Ontario. So V wearing that flower, tried to duck underneath the hit, but was forced down into the inside. I shove Lucy with the block to bring V back into the fold. Twinkle Toes tried to maintain position in bounds, but went down and had to recycle in around Car on Fire. And V steps around the blocker, but once again, I shove Lucy is in there. Not Lucy Ricardo or Guy Lombardo could stop I shove Lucy. And the Team Louisiana triangle going to reform. Blocker was up front. I'm a pusher, providing some offense, but V finally does get around I shove Lucy. And I shove Lucy going to be called to the penalty box for a low block. So after a lot of work and 1 minute of time, V gets lead for Team Ontario. Still with a chance to score points here. Bose forced out of bounds after the star pass. And now forced to the out-of-bounds side on the outside once again. So Team Ontario going to maintain their momentum. They're closing in on that century mark. And be on another scoring pass here. Bose being held down by Hayden McGrath. Oh, V with the eyebrow fake to get I'm a pusher out of position. And 8 points on the pass for V so far. A great scoring jam for Team Ontario. And they're going to work this thing down all the way as the star's been passed out of Bose, who's going to play some jammer defense. And let's see if V is going to call this one off rather than recycling all the way around. Yep, V going to call the jam off. Team Louisiana playing some defense, going to try and milk some clock as well. Under 7 minutes to play, but Team Ontario on a run here. 1 point assessed to Bose after the star pass, I believe. No points. They're going to be changed. That's no points. Didn't think there were any points scored on that jam. Oh, there's a spotter on my notebook. How ironic. Wish I could get a picture of it for you. Either way, Team Louisiana leads Team Ontario by a score of 113 to 102. That 29-point margin that we saw earlier in this half has been peeled off quite a bit by Team Ontario. And Halloween the 3 going to try and do some more work to that end, but Comet Kazi getting lead for Team Louisiana. Their first in the last 4 jams lead jammer. And there's a clockwise block penalty going to be assessed here for a blocker for Team Louisiana. However, they do manage to force Halloween the 3rd out of bounds. Comet Kazi actually taking a seat in the box. So it's a power jam here for Halloween the 3rd, and now lead jammer is open and gotten by Team Ontario. That penalty on Comet Kazi was a cut track penalty. And now Halloween the 3rd, Halloween 3 with 4 points on the power jam. Team Ontario has closed it to single digits. They trail by 7 now. Comet Kazi out of the box, and Halloween 3 with 4 points on the pass, easily jetting up the inside line. Ontario now within 3. 2 blockers on the box, and a big knockout of bounds by Smash Adams. Blockers coming back into play here for Team Louisiana. However, they are not quite together yet. A recycle forced here by Firewalker. And red-headed for trouble for Comet Kazi, going to have to come back in the teeth of the defense. Screen set up by Seri Not Sorry, but Team Louisiana grouping up on the outside to squelch Halloween 3. And now Louisiana going to get the recycle. Under 30 seconds left in jam number 18 of the second half. Comet Kazi still unable to find purchase. Red-headed for trouble on the long recycle. Another force out by Kindly Kills. Going to bring Halloween the 3rd back to the second turn. There's a forearm penalty going to go against Seri Not Sorry, so the pivot heading to the penalty box for Team Ontario. Final seconds of this jam close things out. Halloween 3 gets 4 points, and that's going to be a lead change for Team Ontario. They go on top with under 4 minutes to play. 12 points on the jam for Halloween 3. And we are at our first lead change, folks, in a very long time. Team Ontario up by 1 point over Team Louisiana, and we are down to around 4 minutes to play. Oh, what a flurry by Team Ontario. Over the last 9 jams, they have held Team Louisiana to only 11 points. Carmina Pirana, however, getting lead on this jam. Stevie Stitch is going to have to recycle around I Shove Lucy. I Shove Lucy really making her presence felt here in the later stages of this game. The Dictator going to force Carmina Pirana to the inside line. But Stevie Stitch rubs off a block from I Shove Lucy. Team Louisiana trying to slow things down. Bo's the last line of defense. Stevie Stitch is staying in play and is going to get around to the front of the pack. And Carmina Pirana taking a forearm penalty, I believe, and that's a power jam opportunity here for Ontario. This one's going to go to the full time, folks. Carmina Pirana, I believe, scored points, but Stevie Stitches has a full pass. 4 points for Team Ontario. They still remain in the lead. Those points have not been given yet. And the pivot is well in the box for Team Louisiana. Nice sweep by Team Ontario. And they're going to grab a blocker at the back. I'm a pusher stuck in the back. And wait, there's a penalty on Stevie Stitches. Looks like a possible low block penalty on Stevie Stitches. And that is the sixth penalty as well, a forearm penalty on Stevie Stitches. The sixth penalty for number 12 for Ontario. Stevie Stitches, as we said, had 3 penalties in the first half. And now knocking on the door of that 7th penalty. Carmina Pirana as well out of the penalty box. So we are under 10 seconds to go now here in jam number 19. Stevie Stitches back into the track. And there is an out-of-play contact penalty on Carmina Pirana, so she'll take a seat in the penalty box once again. The wheels coming off just a bit for Team Louisiana. They do get 4 total points in that jam. Looks like 3 more for Team Ontario. They maintain their lead, and a timeout taken. Team timeout here by Louisiana. That is their final timeout of the game. They now trail Team Ontario by 4 points, 121 to 117. Team Ontario with 2 of their timeouts left. And we are under 2 minutes to play in this game. Oh, folks, what else can you say? What a great effort by Team Ontario, never giving up, even when it seemed like they couldn't cut into that double-digit lead. But they used their spell jammers very effectively. Sari Not Sorry, as well as the Dictator, getting some time to jam here in our second half. And Halloween 3, who was not in the regular jamming rotation in the first half, is jammed 4 times here in the second half. None more important than that third jam. And Halloween 3, should be noted as well, has gotten lead every single time they've stepped on the line with that Trillium on the hat. 12 points that flipped the game in the Team Ontario's favor. And they will have a power jam start here. And look who's on the line, folks. It's V, number 8, for Team Ontario, the fastest and most elusive jammer in their lineup. 1:49 on the clock. The team timeout comes to an end. Louisiana with still an official review remaining as well if they want to stop the time clock. V going to get a screen in the back from Hayden McGrath. V is out lead around Twinkle Toes, who has the pivot. Going to be forced to recycle. And that is lead jammer to V. We said lead jammer was already assessed there, but V is in the lead and now out into the clear. Bose heading to the penalty box. 3 blockers on the track for Team Louisiana. Pack is in the front here as Pyro Magniac slipped up to provide some offense, possibly. Carmina Pirana jetting out of the penalty box, trying to work off the damage from those power jam penalties given up. So the penalty kill is done. Starting out past 2 Twinkle Toes. You saw the strategy from Team Louisiana. Twinkle Toes presses up the block from the Dictator. V is through, however, for 4 points. And Team Louisiana just trying to cut down the scoring. Under a minute to go here. Team Ontario could be content to run the clock as Twinkle Toes is in on a scoring run. V is through the pack. 4 more points, so Team Ontario not giving up any of their lead. Twinkle Toes stays in bounds, does not have to recycle, trying to get around Pip. Going to be knocked to the outside by Pyro Magniac and Hayden McGrath. Almost under half a minute to play. V with a great pirouette to stay in bounds around Bose. And that's going to be 4 more points for V. And I think Team Ontario's got it. They've got 12 points on the board, and the lead is now 16, now 12 for Team Louisiana. Trailing by 12. V going to call off the game, and it's going to Team Louisiana going to have to use their official review. They're going to use their official review as a timeout to stop the clock at 7 seconds. So Team Louisiana using their final clock stoppage. An official review going to be used here as a timeout. A heroic jam by V, getting lead and picking up 12 points. It looks like 14 actually on the board for Team Ontario. And they lead by 14. 135 to 121 is our score. Oh, folks, it looked like Team Louisiana was going to salt this one away, but Team Ontario with a resiliency of spirit here. From the 10th jam on, a 67 to to 19 run, a 67 to 19 run from the 10th jam on. So in the last 11 jams, Team Ontario has bested by 48 points Team Louisiana, and Halloween 3 going to try and close things out here against Mississippi Blues. Team Louisiana trying desperately to get lead jammer around Mississippi Blues. Team Ontario digging in, the period clock has run out. Pyromagnac anchoring a triangle that has yet to give any ground. Mississippi Blues looking for a break and can't find it. The triangle working towards the inside, trying to get a force out, and they're going to get it. The dictator goes down in a recycle for Team Ontario here. So Halloween 3 has a chance to get lead. Deante Christ holding steady with Aisha Lucy. 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the jam clock. Mississippi Blues has a bit of momentum, but Pyromagnac shuts that down. Strong word from Pyromagnac and Pip now. I'm a pusher trying to create some offensive help. Under a minute to go in the jam clock here. Time running out for Team Louisiana, though they still do have a chance. They need to get at least 3 passes to get this game. Team Ontario holding firm on their triangle, now bridging out ahead. And Mississippi Blues trying desperately to make a play here. I'm a pusher coming around for another screen, but only a bit of ground given. Mississippi Blues now goes down. Halloween the third has one to beat and beats them. And that's lead jam in Ontario. Halloween the third checking with the bench, and she calls off the jam. I call off the jam. Halloween 3 going to get lead, call off the jam, and that's a W for Team Ontario in a hard-fought game, one of the best games you'll see all weekend, as they come back with a flurry in the second half and defeat Team Louisiana 135 to 121. Woo-wee! What a game played by Team Ontario.